One more try. The introverted is over. If you ever want to achieve anything meaningful in your life, the strategy you must master is one more try. Here's why. One more try doesn't run in an isolated path in your life. It's an overarching concept that links to many of other strategies in this book. One of the core beliefs I hold is the importance of compounding. Compounding takes place when you attempt one more try time and time again. When you're successful in implementing a one more try mentality, you will create and compound more wins for yourself. Each of those wins creates an incremental advancement toward your goals. You stack them on top of each other and produce significant long-term changes in your life. Here's a simple example that illustrates the point. When you were a child, the first time you tried to ride a bicycle, you didn't do what you didn't do so well, did you? You probably started with training wheels, going slow, and with your mom and your dad by your side to steady you. As you climbed on your bike day after day, you got better at learning how to balance, pedal, and go forward. Eventually, those training wheels came off and slowly, but surely you started to ride away on your own. Not long after that, you were whistling up and down streets and the sidewalks without a care in the world, and your life had changed forever until you understand and embrace the fundamental life change parable of try. You want to fully understand why it's essential to try and make one more call, do more set in the gym, meet one more person at a convention, or learn one more skill to put your head and the shoulders above everyone else. When you act and do the same things as everyone else, you will get the same results as everyone else. When you implement a one more try mentality, that's where you find your greatest successes and your most significant personal growth. Doing so also will give you more confidence than your competitors. It's a secret weapon of sorts. Although they may not see it, you will know you're willing to do more than them. You're eager to make one more try than they are. That's a tremendous advantage in your favor. This isn't exactly a new idea. Confucius understood the battles that go in a person's mind when he wrote, "The man who thinks can and the man who thinks he can't are both right." Confucius knew that individual executes at the level of what he or she believes in themselves. Confidence fuels your belief that you're worthy of making one more try. Many people like to think of themselves as overachievers. If you call yourself an overachiever, you are declaring that your standard practice is in it to go above and beyond what's necessary for achievement. To be an overachiever, you must wholly embrace in one more try. There is another critical component to this. Even though you may be willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do, you must be intentional and look for opportunities in everything you do. That mindset must become second nature to you. When you practice this strategy long enough, it becomes a reflex. You don't think about it, you just do it. On an even more fundamental level, you must believe that you can create a more try life for yourself. This is like confidence, but it's more about creating a higher level of self-esteem. Many people don't buy into themselves enough, and the limitation they live within come from within. Being your own worst enemy is something I've seen a lot. I don't buy into this limiting mentality, and I don't want you to either. It doesn't have to be that way. I learned a long time ago that we all have a wisdom inside us to create a future we want for ourselves. Most of us simply don't trap into this rich fate for whatever reason. We block that part of our identity and accept something less. Sometimes we accept the lesser life because we weren't given a good role model to follow, or we've suffered through adversity that's made us mentally fragile. We wither under criticism and refuse to dig deeper to find the mental toughness and agree that even we didn't know we had. Here's something that should excite you. When you do break through, the places in where you one more try takes place in a lot less crowded than when you run within a pack. Most people give up. They don't do the work you're willing to do, so they want to get the result you will get. Hmm. Here's something that you should excite you. When you do break through, the places in where one more try takes place at a lot less crowded than when you run with the pack. Most people give up. They don't do the work you're willing to do, so they want to get the results you will get. Rather, when you move to this new place and where one more try is the norm, the law of averages is now working in your favor. Simply stated, more tries equal more successes. That's a good place to start if you're looking for the boost you need to start implementing one more try. Boosting open and finata. One more try is so important that I want to give you a few examples to drive home the point that often in life it feels like we are making no apparent progress, even though we are. My favorite of these is what I call bursting open the finata. Life is like taking swings at a pinata. It's also an excellent metaphor for how to understand the impact of one more try. There is no external evidence that we are making progress, and that's why people often quit before getting the part of their lives where the candy comes out. The perfect example of this is from a few years ago when I went to a birthday party for a 5-year-old. At the party, there wasn't a pinata, and one by one, the kids put it in the blindfold. They stepped up, were given a bat, and spun around, and then told to do swing the pinata. The first concept of keys gives the pinata. They were disoriented, and they didn't know which direction to swing. Even with some well-intentioned help from their fellow partygoers, they didn't know apparent damage to pinata, or do it seemed. Those kids got a little frustrated when nothing came up. What they didn't realize is that inside, the pinata was slowly breaking down. The kids who went up later figured out the game a bit more. They stepped up, bat in hand, and took their swings. Many of them made a solid contact, and did some damage, whether they knew it or not. The compounding effect in pounding that pinata, even if it seems like the pinata wasn't holding firm, wasn't making a difference. Every time a blow landed, those kids made individual progress, growing ever closer to the ultimate goal of busting it wide open. All the kids shrinked with the anticipation, and after a few more whacks, the sunset and paper machine busy in the weakening. Still, the pinata will not break. When all of children had taken their swings, Mom blindfolded the birthday boy and stepped out in for his turn. That little man reeled back and within my fist. One more try you're ever going to see. He busted that pinata wide open. You know what came next. More than a dozen children scored and golden up all the treats and the goodies that had fallen from the pinata. Was it the one shot that busted the pinata wide open? Absolutely not. It was the combined accumulation of all those in his and contributed to achieving the goal of getting the candy. Too many people quit in their business, their workouts, and or their relationships before the candy comes out. Although they are making progress, it doesn't always show up externally. My advice to you is to keep hitting the pinnacle of your life. Whether you can see it or not, you are making more progress than you might think. As this is starting to sound like your life yet. It should. We all swing at a lot of pinata, and early on, we don't generally bust those pinatas open. I told you at the beginning of this book that you are in a lot closer in realizing your goals and the dreams that you might think. And this is a perfect metaphor of that concept. Just like the children you are making, envision progress in your life. Unfortunately, most people don't stick around too long to realize the outcomes from the progress. However, when you know that you're moving forward, even when you can't directly see you're moving forward, you will stay more focused on your progresses and takes and accomplish your goals. Invisible progress is more than having faith. It's knowledge you acquired because in your efforts, producing results on other things that you've attempted in the past. When you do bust and open a pinata, we get an undeniable rush. You've experienced it many times. You know exactly what the rush is. In fact, the harder it's to bust and open the pinata, the more intense the rush is. As we keep swimming, anticipation builds. Adrenaline kicks in, confidence grows. You may even get a little angry as an dig deeper and refuse to yield. In your pinata, the candy that tumbles out and can be your bliss. As your financial freedom, as falling in love with your special someone in your life. It's landing the dream job you've always wanted. All because you didn't give up. You gave it one more try. And over time, those efforts compounded until you got preciously what you wanted. You must tune out the naysayers and all the negative distractions and focus on busting your peanut wide open. You will feel disoriented at times. Doubt may creep into your mind, and you may think that your goal is not worth it until you learn how to win those battles you never enjoy. What your pinata holds for you. If you stay within it long enough, you will enjoy the fruits of your labors, and everyone else in your circle who sticks around and supports you will enjoy those things as well. Take your swings, as many as you need. Get the candy. There are a lot of peanuts waiting for you to boost. Open and enjoy. A father, daughter, and the power of one more try. I want to tell you what happened on April 26, 1998, and why that date means everything to me. Okay. I was relatively new to the business world, and I was scared to give a presentation. That night, and 40 people on the team. The RSVPs and it didn't materialize the way I had wanted. And by the time the presentation rolled around, only 8 people showed up. I was crushed. I started to doubt whether this wasn't a career for me. I began to think maybe there wasn't something better out there, something else that I wasn't meant to do with my life. I was frustrated and discouraged, and I didn't know if I should keep doing this or not. I sat down and I had a talk with myself. Isn't as honest as it's ever been? Had I done everything I could for as long as I could? Had I done the right things at the right time? I really needed to decide if I had put forth my best effort to make a go of it. Because I was candid with myself, the answer was no. That's a hard thing for private man to admit to himself. Hard, but necessary. Even more important, I had to acknowledge my shortcomings. Until that point, I had followed the pattern of quitting when things had got hard or embarrassing. I found it easy to pull the plug. Too easy. Instead of walking away, I dug my heels in and decided I wasn't going to give this one more try. I was going to empty my tank and do everything that I could to make sure that I had given my very best in my chosen profession. Retreating and giving up were no longer options for me. I set my old limiting identity aside and launched a new version of myself that come to Jesus and talk with myself that refused to give it. And my decision to go the distance by tapping into the moment try changed my life forever. From the night forward, my efforts and my mindset turned into a business living that has paid me hundreds of millions of dollars. There is one more example I want to share with you. Fair warning, there's a proud parent moment ahead. Those of you who are moms and dads will completely understand where I'm coming from. As I write this, my daughter, Bella, is 17. Wow, where did the time go? Much than her credit, she recently said it wasn't a time go out and get a job. Bella applied in a local pizzeria in town and had a great interview. They were ready to offer her the job until one final question tripped her up. They asked her if she wasn't 18 yet, since the pizzeria served the beer. It wasn't a minimum age requirement, and she didn't meet it. Bella called me in right after she left the interview. She was dejected when she shared the news. I was bummed. As a parent, when your child hurts, you do too. But that's not the end of the story. A half hour later, Bella called again. The first words out of her mouth were, "Dad, I got a job." Talk about somebody else and getting a candy from peanut to your daughter. Busted open. I can't even begin to tell you how elevated I was, and I was curious. After disappointing setback, most teenagers will tuck their tails between their legs and head home. But as she was leaving the pizzeria, Bella noticed a small cafe next door. Instead of passing by like in 999 out of 1,000 job hunting teenagers might do, she went inside and started talking to the hostess. One thing led to another, and it turned out the cafe was looking to hire someone, and that person didn't need to be 18. Bella met with the manager and was hired at the spot. That's how my beautiful daughter, using it one more try, took a potential defeat and turned into a victory instead. I'm hard pressed to come up with a more perfect example of how pushing yourself and using one more try can work in your favor. It would have been so easy to give up, but because Annabella made an effort to talk to one more business, she got a job, and it changed her life. Perhaps in a coolest part is that she did it all on her own. Like father, like daughter. It's one of the best proud parent moments I've had in my life. Wow, beautiful.